without using something like Comet, it's quite tricky to be successful in an environment of building a machine learning model, especially within a team. There's multiple components in the machine learning process. You have the data, you have the code, you have results, you have artifacts. There's so many moving pieces. And when you're trying to do that without proper tools or processes, it's nearly impossible. So imagine that you're trying to build a model and you're looking for the right data set. Where does that live? Who do you ask? Which version is the right one? And then when you finally found something that you can work on, you've been training models and running experiments for weeks. How do you remember what result you got last week? As data scientists, we quickly iterate and change and try new things, and it's just very, very challenging to keep track of all of that and really have a clear path to making improvements for this model. And it doesn't end there. And even if you got all of that and you're very careful in taking notes and making sure you have everything in one place, how do you collaborate? In the software world, we can send someone a link to a pull request or a commit. And in software engineering, it's a solved problem, but with machine learning, it's super tricky. At many cases, you have to ask someone to come look at your screen. So it's very difficult to do these things without a proper system. It is possible, but it's very, very hard. And by introducing Comet, just by adding a couple lines of code, you actually get all these things automatically tracked for you. So you don't have to change the workflow. You can still use the tools that you like. But then suddenly, every time you run an experiment, we tell you this is the data set that you use. This is the hyperparameters. Here are all your results, all metrics that you use, whether it's accuracy F1 or something that's more complicated or specific for the business. And then finally, this is the output of the model. This is what you need to give to the production team if they want to put it in a product. And if I'm struggling with my model, I can Slack it to a colleague and say, hey, here's my model, what do you think? And then when they hit that web page, they also have everything they need to get up to speed. So it's very, very tricky to do it without, but once you introduce something like Comet, you can really focus on doing research, improving the model, and focus on data science rather than bookkeeping.